Hello there everyone, my name is Jesus Quesadilla and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas. In the last episode we got a new brain installed for Rex, so he's all good to go now. And we also finished off talking to the last of Great Khans, so now Papa Khan is on our side for the war. The only thing left to do is talk with the Brotherhood of Steel, and that's what we are waiting outside the door here to do today. Why don't we go ahead and go on inside and see what we can do. So yeah, the first time I actually played this game, I think I ignored the Brotherhood of Steel entirely just because I couldn't find their base of operations. It's a little kind of out of the way, and,
Listen up.
well, we'll get to find out more here.
Around here. And I can't say I'm too happy about having an outsider waltzing around.
Ooh.
But since you came in with Veronica, I'm inclined to cut you a little slack. Just behave yourself, and we won't have any problems, okay? Oh, and the Elder's going to want to talk to you. He's on the second level. Just take a right once you get down there. My office is right here in case you need anything. Just ask for Ramos.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, ordinarily, if you don't have Veronica with you, then I believe that there's a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel guys ready to capture you and interrogate you. They strip you down, take all your weapons, similar to what happens when you go to Kaiser's camp. And so we avoided that by having Veronica in our party, so we're actually free to walk around with all of our equipment intact. Let's go ahead and set the quest for Still in the Dark, because that's actually the one that involves Veronica, and it's the one I plan on doing. Now, I don't think that if you're doing the independent path along with the Yes Man, that you can actually convince the Brotherhood of Steel to join up with you. I may be wrong in that regard, but I think that our primary objective is actually to destroy them. I haven't yet made up my mind 100% on if I'm exactly going to do that, but I don't know that there is actually a way to become friends with them with this particular path that I'm taking. With that being said, we'll do our best. And, yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find my way to where the Elder actually is, because it's been a little while, and this place is actually kind of tough to navigate in, because there's so many doors and hallways, and it's just kind of a big mess. I think he's right around the corner here, though. And this upcoming quest is actually kind of fun, too, because it's another one with a bunch of different options we can take. You know, I think Veronica's going to be the one to actually initiate the dialogue here, and we're just going to sit back and listen to them talk.
Hello, Veronica. How goes your mission?
We'll know in a second. I wanted to talk to you.
Veronica, tell me this isn't about...
Yes, goddammit, it is.
It's like watching a bad soap opera.
We've been through this.
The things I've seen now...
Like, seriously, just close your eyes. It sounds like an episode of Days of Our Lives.
We've outlasted the end of the world. We'll outlast these upstarts.
Waiting in a hole for everyone else to die.
If we must.
This is a dead end for us.
I see no evidence of that. Nor do I see anyone out there with a solution to our problems.
Hello, standing right here.
You're too scared to look. Let's go. We're wasting our time.
Well, okay, that was fruitless. Yeah, so he's kind of stubborn and strong-headed.
When Paladin Ramos informed me that Veronica was approaching with an outsider in tow, at first I didn't know what to think. After giving the matter some thought, however, I've decided that an outsider could be of use to me right now.
Cool deal.
However, I will not force you to help us. Should you refuse, you will be allowed to leave here, though you'd remain Veronica's responsibility. What do you say, outsider? Are you willing to help us?
You know... Frankly, I have better things to do right now. I'm not going to go ahead and take his quest, because it's going to sidetrack me quite a bit.
If you should change your mind, please return.
Yeah, I'm not going to get caught up in that. There's a bunch of side questy stuff that we could potentially do here, but I'm going to try and stay focused on just getting through the story content.
I'd slap him around, but he stood at my parents' wedding. Plus, he used to make excuses to get me out of my punishment when I'd slept through Head Scribe Taggart's lectures. Figure I owe him for that. He means well.
Well... Let's see, what now?
I'm not giving up. He wants evidence, but he'll never go looking for it. He's scared I'm right. He'll never listen unless I hold the proof right in front of his face.
Yeah, sounds about right. Do you actually think the Elder will listen at all?
He's a stubborn old man, but when it comes down to it, he's got our best interests at heart. If he sees some indisputable sign we're on the wrong course, he won't ignore it.
You'd think so. So what is it exactly you're trying to accomplish? Let me help you out here.
That's my question to the Elder. All these years, the Brotherhood has collected weapons technology. And for what? To keep it out of people's hands? That clearly hasn't worked. To defend ourselves? We can't compete with the NCR's numbers, or the Legion's. We're fighting a war for a lost cause. If we're gonna survive, we have to find a role in society, attract new members.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. So how would you propose we do that?
Look at the followers of the apocalypse. They use their expertise to improve people's lives. They train them to be self-sufficient.
Well, why don't you just join them then?
Cultivates respect and gratitude, spreads their ideals, draws talent to their cause. They make friends like we make enemies. But they don't know a fraction of what we know. If we took on their role, we could stand up to anyone. We wouldn't have to hide.
Sounds pretty good. Okay, so what could we bring to him that would actually change his mind?
I don't know. We need something that shows the Brotherhood will fail, or that it can do better a different way. The only thing that gets his attention is technology.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Father Elijah had the right idea.
Father Elijah? Who's that?
Our elder before McNamara. He had a nose for recovering lost technology. He'd send scribes out into the desert, chasing whatever leads he found. There were a few he only trusted me with. I can think of at least one that'd prove my point, if it still exists. There's a comm terminal not too far from here I'd use to access messages from him. If we go there, I can pull up his research on it.
Okay, sounds good. In that case, let's head out.
I'm with you. Being around here isn't the same anymore.
Alright, so now we've got a new quest here. Basically, we're going to have to find some technology to show the Elder that, Oh, actually, hold on. Let's talk to these guys first.
Veronica brings an outsider into our home, then has a private audience with the Elder?
You jelly?
The two of you may have the Elder fooled, but we know better. Veronica has always twisted the Founder's principles to her own ends. We will not stand idly by and allow her to corrupt our Elder's thinking.
Oh, God. Yeah, these guys are kind of a pain in the ass, but,
Sorry.
that won't be the last we see of them.
Doesn't mean some of them aren't assholes.
Yeah. Okay, well, so basically, the gist of this is that we have to go find some sort of advanced technology to show the Elder and basically convince him that the track that the Brotherhood of Steel currently is on isn't sufficient to keep them alive. Because he's isolating himself from the world and yet expecting that their technology is enough to be able to keep them defended from outside forces, which clearly isn't the case. And there's a number of ways we can go about proving that. There are a number of artifacts that we're going to be able to find, a list of which we'll get from Veronica. Let's go ahead and switch over to this one. This is actually the quest line we want to be taking, I think. And basically the deal is that if we find any of these artifacts, it's going to prove to the Elder that there's technology out there that could threaten all the Brotherhood of Steel members, and unless they do something about it, they're going to end up dying out. Which, you know, sounds really bleak, but we gotta deal with it. Ultimately, you know, I don't know if this is really going to matter that I complete this quest, because I'm pretty sure at this point I could just tell the Yes Man to ignore the Brotherhood of Steel, which in all likelihood is what I'm going to end up doing, because I don't really want to piss off Veronica. I'd like to keep her in my party if I can, up until the end, because I'd like to use her in the last fight of the game. But, yeah, I figure I'd just do this, just so that we have some interaction with the Brotherhood of Steel, so you get a little taste for what some of their quest lines are like. Let's go ahead and find that terminal. I think we're going to go ahead and fast travel to, I think the Gibson Scrapyard's probably, yeah, that looks pretty close. So let's go ahead and go there. Seems like there's a lot of stuff around that area. You know, I'm kind of curious what happens if you find this terminal earlier in the game before you take this quest. If it still works, and like, if you're able to interact with it. Break the sequencing of the game, so to speak. Yeah, it's just right around the corner here, so we're going to go ahead and grab the info. Actually, I should maybe mention this now. When you get to the end of a Fallout game, your interactions with the different tribes, including like all the different side quests you can do, determine kind of the ending story that gets told to you. And basically, once you get to the game, they'll give you all these little snippets about the ultimate fate of all the tribes that you've come across and interacted with. So, depending on if you help them out or attack them or things like that, you'll send them down different conclusions. And it doesn't really change the ending of the game per se, but you get a different conclusion to each group of people that you meet based on the way you deal with them. So, I think the way we're dealing with the Brotherhood of Steel, it's actually not going to go too well for them because their elder's kind of ignorant, and if I remember correctly, even after you show him this evidence, I don't know that he really changes his mind. Now, it is possible to have the elder replaced by somebody else, someone who's a little more willing to accept what we want to tell them, but I'm not going to go too in-depth with that. But yeah, there are options you can take there. Okay. So maybe if we come across this terminal early in the game, we just don't have the password because we don't have Veronica in our party yet. So let's go ahead and get these research notes. And I think that's all we have to do.
Here. Okay, yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. The pulse gun.
Yeah.
Although maybe the rangefinder could work too. And it looks like the NCR was onto some miracle farming technology.
Well, I already know which one I want to pick, but let's hear about all of them. So let's hear about the farming technology.
More or less. Supposedly it's a vegetation enhancer. NCR has a science branch headquartered at McCarran Airport. Guess they found something.
Huh.
Guess somebody wasn't very good at keeping secrets either. We'd never pursue it because it's not a weapon, but self-sufficiency is fundamental to us. If it works, they'd see the value of an alternate course.
Yeah, that could potentially be good. Tell me about the rangefinder.
It's a targeting device for some kind of doomsday weapon based at Helios 1. It was lost sometime after the war.
Yeah, that one's
We
actually
held
pretty
Helios 1
fun.
for a time. Lost a lot of people defending it. Too many. All for this weapon they never got working. If it turns out to be a dud, it'd show how flawed our goals have been. Father Elijah said he thinks a scavenger might have sold it on the strip.
Okay, well, what's a pulse gun?
Electromagnetic weapon from before the Great War. Experimental. It never saw mass production. But they were building it as a countermeasure to power armor, which they feared the Chinese were developing.
Of course, the
Supposedly,
Chinese. I
prototype
should have
is
known
being
all
housed at
along.
Nellis. Imagine what it could do to the Brotherhood. We'd be on equal footing with any idiot with a gun.
Okay, well, of these, I think the one that I'm going to want to follow up on is actually the pulse gun, because I find it the
Yeah,
most
Maybe
interesting.
they'll think twice about engaging the NCR if they know one of those could be floating around.
Yeah.
The notes say to look around Nellis Air Force Base. He suggests going through filing cabinets and computers in the commanding officer's quarters.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go find
I
it.
like the way you think.
So we are going to have to get the key from the Nellis Air Force Base in order to actually gain access to the pulse gun. Luckily, we've already done our questing over at Nellis and got the boomers on our side, so we'll be able to do that. Note that if you do take this path, you are going to have to steal the key from a lockbox inside of Pearl's room, the leader of the boomers, and I think it's unavoidable that you do gain some small amount of karma loss, so if that's a big deal to you, then don't pick this option. You could go with either of the others, and I don't think there's that karmic loss necessarily, but going this path, I'm pretty sure it's unavoidable. I think that without this key, you're going to have a really high lockpick skill, so unfortunately I don't have that. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and come up here, and hopefully Pearl won't be around. I'd like to go ahead and steal this without her noticing if possible. Although she is usually the only one in this room. Now, I think that the key... Let's see, which of these? It might be in this filing cabinet. Let's go ahead and open that up. Inventory transfer, yeah, here we go. Colonel Blackwell's key, so that's what we want. We might as well take everything else too. Yeah, there's that karma loss. And let's bail! Cheese it! Okay, now that we have the key, let's see where we need to go. Go down the map. Looks like roughly around here, so the fastest way would probably to go to... Looks like the Grub and Gulp. Yeah, it's just a little bit north of there, so let's go ahead and fast travel there. Now, actually thinking about it now, I'm a little underprepared for this. If at all possible, it'd be really good to have some anti-radiation stuff, whether that be Rad-X or Radaway, or some sort of clothing that helps protect you against radiation, because we're about to enter into a very toxic area, to the point where radiation poisoning is actually a very real possibility. Up to this point in the game, I really haven't had to worry about it, and actually in New Vegas, you very rarely have to deal with radiation, I find, compared to Fallout 3 at least. Actually, even in Fallout 3, radiation wasn't too big a deal. But, let's go ahead and take care of that bloat fly. Just kind of deflated. But yeah, definitely account for that radiation. I'm kind of being a little bit stupid here by going in without a whole lot of stuff. I think I have a few Radaways and Rad-X's, so hopefully that'll help me out if I need it. But I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that I know how to explore in this area well enough that I won't be in it long enough to get radiation poisoning. And if I do, whatever. So while I'm making my way over, I'd just like to take a chance to say hi. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I actually just got done putting up a couple new posters around my room. I got them in the mail from Redbubble the other day. If you guys don't already know, Redbubble's a really cool website. It's kind of like Cafe Press, where users get to upload their art designs and people can purchase them and buy them on things like T-shirts, posters, pillowcases, stuff like that. Pretty much anything you could really think of. And so I bought some T-shirts and posters the other day, and I just finished putting one of them up on my wall. It's actually a really cool Majora's Mask poster that somebody made. Majora's Mask is probably my favorite game in the Zelda series, so I really wanted something kind of eerie to put up on the wall. And I also grabbed a couple Fallout posters, speaking of which. I got, there's this one guy who made some splatter art design posters for both Fallout 3 and New Vegas, so I got one of each. And I'm thinking maybe I'll put one up on either side of my TV to kind of bookend it, and that kind of give it a really cool vibe. But yeah, if you've never been on Redbubble, you should definitely check it out. Stuff is, you know, it's fairly priced. Shirts are probably around 20 bucks each, same thing for posters. And they've got a lot of video game related stuff. There's tons of different artists up there who've put up some really neat stuff. Not all of it's video game related either, there's a lot of pop culture stuff too. And you're definitely bound to find something you like on there. Alright, so, ooh, golden geckos. Might as well pick that stuff up, it's kind of valuable. Get that gecko meat and gecko hide. What the fuck? You having some trouble there, buddy? Let me help you out there. I kind of feel a little bad for him. Oh, don't run away. Don't make it harder on yourself. How was that a headshot? Okay, whatever. I'll take it. You know, it's kind of funny. Growing up in Hawaii, there's tons of geckos there. And after coming to Seattle, I don't think that there are any. At least not that I've seen. Not here in the city, anyway. Maybe out in more of the less urban parts of Seattle. Or Washington, rather. But let's go ahead and check this out. I think here, Vault 34, this is the place we want to be at. Yeah, this is kind of creepy here, right? The remnants of an old vault. That was actually one of my favorite things to do in Fallout 3. There were a bunch of old vault shelters that you could go exploring in. I think there might be a couple in this game too, but I'm pretty sure there were a lot more in Fallout 3. And I always seem to forget that in this game you're not actually a vault dweller, you're just a courier that already starts the game out in the wasteland, as opposed to Fallout 3, how you kind of live sheltered for the first, I don't know, 20 years of your life or whatever it is, up until your dad leaves. It's kind of different. Like, it's the same thing, but it's just different enough to be interesting. And yeah, you guys are definitely seeing all the heavy radiation there. That's not even the slightest. Poor Rex, he got knocked out there. There are giant geckos every frickin' which way. But that's okay, because we can disintegrate them. Melt away. Okay. Yeah, this place is actually going to be a little bit tricky to explore, because there's a bunch of different passages with locked doors and stuff like that, and there are going to be ghouls up ahead. So have your favorite weapon of choice at the ready. There's going to be tons of enemies in a second. Okay, cool. Rex is good to go. So that's the nice thing. I don't think that I really needed to upgrade durability for Rex, because he's just going to get up anyway after the battle's done. And it's going to be very rare that he actually gets incapacitated, so I'm not too worried about that. I feel like it was the right choice to go with extra attack power, because Rex is pretty damn strong. He can take down a lot of enemies just by himself, and with Veronica here too, I could actually stand back and let them do most of the fighting, to tell the truth. But I won't do that, because that'd be boring. You know, it's kind of funny that Vault 34 is supposed to be like this fortification against the nuclear fallout, and yet it's seemingly one of the most radiated places in the entire game. Alright, yep, what'd I tell you? They're one of those ghouls I was talking about. I was, actually, just the other day I was watching an episode of, John Oliver's new show on HBO, and they were talking about nuclear warheads owned by the United States, and I don't know if I'm remembering the number correctly, but I want to say that, there's something like 4,800 warheads, like nuclear warheads, in the United States alone. And I'm just thinking, why would you ever need that many? Because it seems like just a couple nukes would be enough to do catastrophic damage. So why you need to stockpile, like, in the thousands is just beyond me. Again, maybe I'm not remembering the number correctly. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that at some point. But whatever the number might be, even if it was in the hundreds, that just seems ludicrous to me. And basically, he was talking about how it was really hard for the United States to actually keep track because we have so many warheads. We actually end up misplacing them and sending them to places we don't want to send them. And it's just ridiculously scary to think about. There are just so many of those things out in the world, and God knows they're not all protected by, like, really good fortifications, that it's amazing one hasn't gone off yet. But yeah, I'm really digging John Oliver's new show. I'm glad that he got a spot on HBO, especially after he filled in for Jon Stewart on The Daily Show for a while. Oh yeah, nice. I thought John Oliver was a great substitute for Jon Stewart, and I think that was the moment where, for that kind of interim period where Jon Stewart was away on vacation for a while, I think that was really where I start to really like John Oliver, and, actually, that reminds me, I can't believe that the Colbert Report is ending. I mean, he's still going to be on TV and all that, he's just changing shows, but it's going to be weird not having him on Comedy Central anymore. That's actually part of, like, my daily routine. I always end up watching that 1 hour block with him and Jon Stewart. Alright, let's see. Oh, hey, we got some of them caged up in here. Should we, open the door and let them out? Oh, it's inaccessible, okay. Well, we're probably going to be fighting them at some point or another. I'm kind of trying to conserve my alien blaster just because the ammo is limited on it. I realize it'd be a lot easier if I just went through picking them off with that. But I want to make sure I have enough left over to get me through the rest of the game. And also, I don't want it to be too easy. I feel like it kind of takes the challenge out of it, although hitting these guys with headshots with the sawn-off shotgun is just as easy. You know, I don't really get the bottle caps thing. I've tried to... Ooh, that doesn't look good. I think I'm going to have to go underwater there at some point, but let's see if I can avoid that for now. Yeah, I don't really understand the bottle caps thing. Like, I guess I don't really get why it was that pre-war money stopped functioning as a currency after the bomb dropped, in the Fallout universe anyway, and how it was that everybody somehow decided to go with bottle caps as the new currency. Like, I don't really understand how that's any different, or why that would need to take place. Like, it's kind of a cool quirk of the game, and it helps give it some character, but I don't really get the logic behind it. Maybe I should start saving my bottle caps in case the nuclear fallout ever happens in my lifetime. Actually, it'd be kind of cool if the, maybe this is a little too close to New Vegas because it'd still be on the West Coast, and they probably don't want to have two games take place in locations really close to each other. But it'd be kind of neat if Fallout 4 took place in, like, Seattle or something like that. I'd be kind of down for exploring a nuclear-wasted Seattle. Could have some really cool environments to explore. It'd be neat to see how they do, like, things like, the Space Needle and stuff like that. Alright, cool. Tons of rad stuff. We're going to need that. Actually, in a minute here, I might want to pop some rad pills just to kind of cut that down a little bit. Especially if I'm going to be getting in that water that we saw earlier. You know what, though? I'm kind of looking at the time right now on my timer, and I'm worried that this is going to take a while to get through, because this area, I don't know, for me at least, usually takes a good 15 to 20 minutes to get through, and we're already almost up to 25 minutes by my watch. So, I think in the interest of cutting back on time and trying to fit into that 30-minute time limit again, which so seldomly seems to happen with this series, but I'm going to try and do it. What I might do is cut the video and fast forward when I'm a little bit closer to actually getting the pulse gun, because this part of the game is actually pretty linear. It's kind of straightforward what you have to do. And I think the next 10 or 15 minutes are just going to be me fighting my way through a bunch of ghouls, so I may speed that up just a smidge, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and I'll rejoin you guys once I'm a little bit closer, just to shave off some time. So I'll see you again in a second. Okay guys, I'm back here. I think I've fought my way to the doorway that I need to be at, and I'm just picking off the few last ghouls kind of in the area. Yeah, that took way longer than I thought it was going to, because I actually got a little bit lost. I was trying to think maybe I could just speed up that part of the video, but it ended up taking me a good solid 15 or 20 minutes to actually fight my way to this doorway here. And I think that the pulse gun is somewhere in this room. Before I deal with that, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and kit myself up with some Rad-X, and unfortunately I actually ate through my stim packs pretty quickly down here, because there were a lot more enemies than I was expecting. That was actually quite a bit of an ordeal. You know, let's go ahead and make some space, though, because I'm kind of running low on inventory here. Let's go ahead and take that stuff, and... ooh, plastic explosives, that's always cool. Might as well take that. What's in this locker here? Okay, here we go. Yep, here's the pulse gun. So let's go ahead and grab that. In order to get into that locker, you do need the key. Damn, I'm over encumbered. Okay. Well, worst comes to worst, I can always give something for Veronica, or I think Rex can carry items too, actually, which is kind of nice. But let's see what we can condense down here. What can I repair? Not a whole lot by the looks of it. Yeah, I just got a couple really heavy items. I don't know that I really need the combat armor. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of having second thoughts about that. I'm going to go ahead and drop that, because it's just really heavy. It's going to weigh me down. I'm still super over-encumbered, too. Yeah. That's kind of really the primary drawback of the way that I distributed my stats. I kind of use strength as a dump stat, meaning I didn't really put any points at all into it. I think my strength ended up being like 2 or 3. And so that means my carrying capacity is pretty damn low. Alright, well, let's go ahead and make our way out here. We got what we came for. Now, the tricky part is going to be finding my way back upstairs, because I don't know what I was thinking when I said I thought that this place was linear. There's actually a lot of twisting corridors and different places you can get lost in, so yeah, I was kind of mistaken on that. I guess I can just sort of follow the pile of dead bodies on my way out. I'm gonna head back up to the surface area and get out of this radiation before it just rips me apart. And you can see my radiation got really, really high there, even with the Radaway and Radex and stuff like that. So, if you really should bring some sort of anti-radiation suit with you. Although it will mean that your defenses are lower against the ghouls, I think it ends up balancing out. Now, if you end up deciding you don't want to get the pulse gun, if you want to get the other two, I actually really recommend also checking out Helios 1. I say that because Helios 1 is actually a really super powerful weapon if you activate it. The process to do that is actually a little bit cumbersome, but it ends up being worth it. It's probably... I would actually make the argument that the Alien Blaster is still a better weapon than the Helios 1 weapon, but it's actually still pretty damn powerful. Basically what it enables you to do if you end up keeping it and using it, you can call down a laser, a laser targeted defense system, like from a satellite, and you just aim your gun at the direction of where you want the laser to hit, and it strikes down from the gods. And it's pretty awesome, actually. Kind of unfortunate I won't be getting in this particular Let's Play, but yeah, it's just kind of a bit of an ordeal, and I don't really want to deal with it right now. Especially because I'm already powerful enough as it is, and I'm not really going to have any difficulty from here through to the end of the game, so I don't really need to do anything to make myself even more overpowered than I already am. But yeah, being back inside of a vault, though, really makes me reminisce for Fallout 3. I remember the starting area for Fallout 3 so damn well. Vault 101 is such a blast. And actually, I forget the name of the vault, but the one that has Tranquility Lane in it from Fallout 3 is also really freaking cool. I love those two locations in Fallout 3. In fact, sometimes I like to replay the game just up till Tranquility Lane because it's one of my favorite areas. A lot of people actually tend not to like it for some reason. I think because it's kind of, I don't know, maybe just that it's a story area and it's kind of linear, that once you've played it once, there's not really a whole lot of reason to play it again. But I just like the whole 50s atmosphere. It kind of reminds me of that part early on in Saints Row 4 where you're in that 50s suburbia place. It's almost exactly like that, in fact. But the way they do it in Fallout 3 is pretty cool. Anyway, just about out of here. We're back up in that upper cavern area that we started out in with all the young geckos. And freedom! We taste daylight once again. I mean, it is the, well, moonlight rather, and we are still in a nuclear fallout, so that's only so good. But anyway, guys, I think this is going to be the end of the video here. We're already way over on time. I'm going to have to do some major cuts to that section in order to get it down, but I think that this is a good place to leave off. In the next episode, we'll take the pulse gun back to the Elder of the Brotherhood of Steel and see if we can convince him to change his ways. But that withstanding, thank you again, guys, for joining me again. Once again, my name is Jesus Quesadilla. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to me if you've not already done so, and that way you can stay up to date on all my future posts and updates. But besides that, guys, it's been a whole lot of fun, and until the next one, this is Jesus Quesadilla signing out and wishing you well. Peace!